This programme contains descriptions of violence that some people might find upsetting. The faces of some of those involved have been blurred to protect their identity.
There's nothing today. Look. Could you find anything today here? Look a bit.
Glasgow has a problem with gangs, and on this estate they've been at war for decades. I've come to Easter House to find the teenagers fighting for their streets. This is Revealed Extra. This is an estate in the east end of Glasgow and it is notorious for its gangs. What goes on in the drumming?
Fighting.
It's almost like people here are conditioned for violence.
Get out, man!
Really? You get your fingers chopped off?
Just about reputation of the territory.
Bam!
Where's that fog? Right, I'll kill you.
You just get that sense something could snap.
Stop, Henry!
No, we're going. Pretty glad we're not there anymore, to be honest. When you think of gangs, it's often all about drugs, prostitution, guns and money, but here it seems to be a very different type of gang culture. This is Easter House. It is an estate in the east end of Glasgow and it is notorious for its gangs. There's the Dentoi, the Baltoi, the Drummy, the Provy and the Aggro. Gang names, most of which have existed since the estate was built in the 1950s. The teenagers fighting today say they're in the same gangs as their dads and granddads were, and that fights like these caught on CCTV aren't that unusual. At times, murder's been the most common cause of death here for young men. I've been told that in the first 5 months of last year, there were 12 stabbings. The latest person was killed just weeks ago. So, I'm off to try and find the gangs. I don't know whether anyone will want to tell me what goes on here. When someone does agree, he seems nervous to talk on film, so we're keeping his identity secret. Tell me what gang you're in.
Drummy.
What goes on in the drumming?
Fighting. Bah.
What kind of fighting?
Gang fighting, obviously.
Have you been involved in it?
Never been in a gang fight in my life. But obviously, I'm not going to tell you that exists in front of a camera, you know what I mean?
Okay.
You end up getting caught at grass and all that.
He is drunk, and I can't tell whether he's exaggerating for the camera. But seeing he isn't happy saying much makes me wonder just what kind of trouble he'd be in if he did. Back in the car, I spot a group in an area I've been told is controlled by another gang. What gang are you in?
Provy.
The Provy.
The Provy rebels.
Walk into a shopping centre and you see somebody, you'll end up fighting. What's a different scheme?
One word which comes up quite a lot is this word scheme, and that is basically a part of an estate. What do you mean by scheme?
Different areas.
Housing scheme.
If you walk through Drummy, you'll be fighting.
I get my fingers chopped off.
You get your fingers chopped off?
Aye.
Really? You get your fingers chopped off?
Aye.
You know the people who've had their fingers chopped off?
Aye.
It's got to mess you up, though, hasn't it, growing up?
It's just
But it happens, doesn't it?
a way of life.
Happens, doesn't it?
A way of life.
Aye.
It's almost like people here are conditioned to violence or to seeing violence. And when you're told that there's a lad been taken down the field and his fingers have been chopped off with a machete, but he deserved it, that blows your mind, really. What way is it a way of life?
It's a reputation. No, it's just a thing.
If you were in the Provy, would people not respect you?
No, I wouldn't respect you.
Do people get killed here? Do people get killed in these fights?
Aye.
A guy will get murdered there a weekend there.
Was that gang related? What are you fighting for?
This scheme in ourselves.
Your area? You're fighting for this?
For this territory.
Protecting yourself.
Would you die for this then?
Aye, I'd die for Provy.
You'd die for Provy?
Yep.
I wonder if you would go that far, or if it's all just banter for the camera. The police say things have improved here and that they know who the troublemakers are. One officer told us the last big gang fight was last summer. The next day, and I still haven't really got my head around what the gangs are fighting for. I meet Sean. He used to be in the Drummy and says he still knows the gang, but that he doesn't fight anymore. Whose area is this?
This is the Drummies.
What about those houses over there?
That's Dentoi, the boundaries at the top of that hill. That's the Dentoi.
So if you were to go over that hill, what happens?
If people were to see you, then you'd probably get involved in a fight. the drummy and the older ones like expect the younger ones to live up to the name.
From what we've been told, you've got a couple of lads coming over this side, got 2 lads there, the rest of them hiding in the bushes. By the time they get to the middle, the rest of them come at them with whatever weapons they've got. They'll throw bottles, bricks. You're not fighting a war.
No, it's like, well, people like I'll say like the troops and all that, it's not really like an army or anything.
A lot of people are trying to distance themselves initially from being involved in a gang. So while they're not necessarily saying they're in the gang anymore, if someone comes into their area and there's a fight, I get the sense they'd still be involved. Do you reckon you could end up fighting again with the drumming?
I reckon it could happen because like, you never know, but if I got an option then I would prefer to say no.
You hear about gangs around the world, and when you hear about it, it's often associated with drugs. I'm told that isn't the case here. What is it all about then?
It's just about reputation of the territory, not related to any money or drugs.
And is there a leader?
No.
Such a gang?
Basically everybody's just doing it all themselves.
So people are putting their lives at risk for nothing more than a street?
Yep.
When you say it like that, it sounds a bit stupid, doesn't it?
It does, but it's been happening for that long now and it basically won't stop.
Thursday evening in the Baltoy gang area, and something's kicking off, but it isn't a gang fight. The police have stopped a cart that had earlier been taken from another part of town. After a few days, I'm starting to get the picture. The gangs fight to protect their patch, their scheme, from, well, nothing more than other lads walking into them. So far, I've had no problem walking into any area until I approach this group.
You want to do me, mate?
Their instant reaction is that I'm looking for a fight.
We'll be able to have a chat with you? Alright, okay. Okay.
What I don't realise is that while I'm explaining what I'm doing to these lads, others are threatening the crew.
Yeah.
After things calm down, one of the lads, Jordan, says he wants to talk.
That's his skinheads, mate, right?
The skinheads?
You're right. Obviously, man, I'm grown out, you know what I mean? But it's part of your culture. You grow up in the atmosphere. I was a fug, right? I'll tell you, mate, I was.
What sort of things have you seen?
Stuff that I wouldn't like to describe. You can take me to Easter House, but you can't take the Easter House out of me. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, right, I've grown up here, right? Fought every scheme Easter House, you know what I mean? But see, at the end of the day, man, backfires on you.
How do you get out of it?
Well, see, honestly, you can't really get out of it.
I now realise that what I did, a stranger approaching a group, could be enough to start a fight here.
Yeah, you've got a lot of boys making Miller and approach with skinnies, mate.
I get the impression that Jordan's frustrated that it's difficult to get away from gang culture in Easterhouse once you've been a part of it. Others are telling me that they don't want to lose their mates' respect by not being involved, and that a big part of the problem is they've got nothing to do apart from get drunk. I meet up again with Sean, and this time he's with his mate Darren, who also used to be in a gang. I want to find out what goes on in Easterhouse during the day.
Not much at all.
Nothing,
There's nothing, exactly.
Drinking starts pretty early on a Friday.
Yes.
Do you think the idea of fighting for an area has gone, and actually now all you're doing is fighting because people are drunk?
I think it is just because you're drunk.
And just try to live up to the name of the scheme.
Aye.
Do you want to just get out of here then as soon as you can? Is that the plan?
No, I wouldn't like to get out. I would just like to get a secure job. I've been paid off and on so many times. That's why I prefer going into something to do with sports.
Sean and Darren used to be in rival gangs and say they're only friends now because of football. Now, this might look like any pitch, but it's one of the only places in Easterhouse where the gangs will come together, not to fight, but to play football. The coach says these lads are from all the different gang areas and that they cross territories to be here. It might sound weird, but they're all on the same team, the Phoenix.
Do you think people kind of say that they're not involved in it, but actually there will be people who are involved in it?
People say that they're not involved in it, but they are. Don't want to be known to be doing it, but they're doing it.
Would you say you were one of those people?
I was, but no anymore.
What made you stop?
Football.
Football?
Yeah,
What is
I
it?
go to other places and see my pals.
Do you reckon there's a risk that if you are involved in this fighting you could get stabbed and you could die?
High risk.
A high risk? Is that just something that you've accepted?
Aye. Look it up, mate. Staying in Easter, seen it, accepted.
Do you all know people who've been stabbed?
Aye, I seen somebody getting stabbed, but like instead of leaving them, they just kept stabbing them.
They agree football's the one thing that's helping them get out of the gangs, and that it's alcohol that's fueling the violence among those still involved. I've heard there's drinking by the lake on a Friday evening, so I've come to have a look.
Are you part of a gang? What gang are you in?
Provi.
The Provi?
Fight with your family, we drink, and then we go and chase them for a laugh.
You go and chase them for a laugh?
Aye.
Do any of the girls ever kind of like get involved as well?
No. It's only the boys because they think they're all happy. No, we get involved in one fight, didn't we? Get it in, man! Look at me!
Tell us then what happens on a Friday night.
Everybody gets drunk. Yeah.
I got a scar right there. I get stabbed there, I was fighting, I get stabbed there.
What were you stabbed with?
A bottle, I think. I was a wee guy, I thought I was a gangster and I was...
Someone stabbed you with a bottle?
Aye.
This bottle here contain a really strong wine, and it's also mixed with caffeine. While they're on this and you're talking to them, 99% of the time it's quite jovial, it's quite friendly. You just get that sense that something could snap. It's that kind of on-edge feeling that can make you understand how very quickly something which seems just like a rowdy bunch turns into something a bit more violent.
The police arrive to move the group on, but some aren't ready to go home. Lads from the Provi come to talk, then a rival gang drive past.
Aye, Brooklyn there, you you seen your bam!
So they're a different gang?
Aye.
Would you fight with them?
Aye.
You would?
Obviously.
The boys are on the edge of their patch. This territorialism, without making money, makes them very different from other gangs around the world.
We're taking a little bit of a drive around Easter House later on at night to try and get a sense of what things are like around here. And one thing we've started to get a sense of after spending a few days here is that people are aware of who we are. We're getting quite a lot of looks as we drive around. We're certainly getting to be quite well known around Easter House.
We're starting to have problems going into areas with the camera, so we agree I should approach the next group without the crew, but things don't go well.
They were all saying, we're the aggro, we're the aggro. I said, is it all right for me to bring the camera around? Yeah, fine. And then one guy literally was like, you can't do that, you can't bring a camera in here, people will know, people will think we're grasses. And as we were leaving, there was one guy with his key sticking out of his fist. Just felt like he wanted a fight.
Was that the first time?
No, we're going. We're going. Get the wire, get the wire. In fact, they're right there right now, so we're going. There were at least 3 guys who were then literally running full pelt at us, shouting. It's kind of that territorialism which you can understand why some of the other lads around here don't want to be seen going over towards the aggro. But their attitude and the way that they are so uninviting to you to go into a certain area, as if you are actually on their area, makes you feel a little bit like anything could happen. Yeah, I'm pretty glad we're not there anymore, to be honest. Gangs. It's one of those things that Easter House has got a name for. When you ask someone if they've seen anyone being stabbed, they'll go, yeah, that's taken a while to get used to. And I think all of them will say to you, it is a way of life. This is the way things are around here. All of them say it's really difficult to get away from being in a gang because they don't want their mates not to like them and respect them, and it is all about respect.
There's no doubt people here feel strongly about their part of Easter House, but I wonder if today's gangs are using territory as an excuse for their fighting, when another explanation could be that they're simply bored and drunk.